Hello beautiful creative people, this is Kiala Givehand coming at you for book 9. Isn't that crazy? Book 9 of Book in the Day. And today is February 28th. It is 3:47 in the afternoon. I've had a pretty full morning that includes lots of conversation with some of my creative cohorts and thinking about the book and planning out the book actually. So I knew what content I wanted to do early on in the week, and what I decided last night, I guess, I had been toying around with what structure I would use, and so this week I'm using a structure that I don't know the technical name for. I think I learned it as the Whirlwind structure, so I'm going to be using that. And I'm going to walk through the process a little more than I did last week, obviously, and share with you how to actually put the book together. Because this one is, I think, a really neat structure for, there's no sewing, there is gluing, but it also allows you to not have to have signatures or folios, but you can have single sheets and create a book with single sheets, which for all my art journal friends out there, I think you will love this. It's a great way to do like folks who are doing one-page spreads that aren't connected to any book or inside of any journal. Here's a way, this book will be a way that you can combine all of your images or pages together into one book. So I'm excited about doing this today. So my content is going to be very closely connected thematically to my East Coast Southern upbringing. I grew up being called and eating grits. And for those of you who don't know out there, grits stands for Girls Raised in the South, which I'm very proud to be a girl raised in the South. All of my Southern belle charm and mannerisms come from that upbringing, but there's also a sassy side to Southern belles, so a little bit of both. So my hope is that I really wanted to work with silhouettes this week. I don't know, I think I must have read something recently or saw something recently that has silhouettes stuck in my head for like the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 days maybe. So I started by doing a very strange thing. I took a picture of myself with my phone, just, you know, like, well, my phone can take pictures from the front. So I did a photo of myself, my side profile, and then I printed that photo out on my computer, and then I cut it out, and I made, okay, so I'll tell you the whole process. Took the picture, printed the picture out in black and white on regular printer paper. I took the printer paper and glued it to a piece of, remember the folders from last week's book? Okay, so I still have tons of those. So I glued it to a piece of folder, which is, you know, thicker. It's thick, a lot thicker than cardstock, so it has some thickness to it. So I glued it to that, I glued my side profile picture to the folder. Then I took black gesso, and covered the photo. Then I cut it out into a little silhouette. That's me, that's my silhouette. Okay, so I did that, and then I thought, okay, it can't just be my silhouette in the book. It has to be other beautiful Southern women. So I went through and I did some, looked through photos that I had, looked through some magazines. So I did a bunch of different things, and here's like a little example. I took, so on this side of the picture there's a girl, and I cut her out of a magazine, and then I put, black gesso on. So this is one I haven't done yet. Sorry. This is one I haven't actually done yet. because I wanted you to see the process. I'm not going to do it. I just wanted you to see how I took it from a image in a magazine, which I only did 2 of these. The others came from actual photos of people I know. I'm not going to tell you who they are. They'll have to figure it out on their own. So anyway, I have a ton of them. Here's one. And I did the same process. I glued them to a piece of the folder. You can see the folder on one side. And then I just cut the images out, the silhouettes out. So this is a great technique for folks who don't consider themselves to be artistic in that I can't draw and I don't know that I can, I'm not a super wonderful drawing artist. I know how to draw faces, and I've taken classes that help me know how to look at proportion and that kind of thing, but I'm not trying to draw realistic portraits. If I want a realistic portrait, I'll take a picture of someone. So that's not my goal. So I really like silhouettes. So here's what happened when I did this though. So when I was painting the black gesso onto the image, I got this sort of, right, this is the image, and it was here, and I took the gesso and painted over the whole thing. Well, when I took the image off of that, I had these, right? So I have all these. I don't know which ones I'm going to use, or if I'm going to use them, or what I'm going to do with them yet. They may or may not even show up in the book. We'll see. It's a process, right? But I do really like these silhouettes that I was able to create. So I'm going to find a way to incorporate these into the book. I don't know how yet. I haven't decided. I think I might pull out my jelly plate and do something on for background and then put these on top. I just don't know what yet. So being from the South, we have a lot of sayings that we use. Everything from hey y'all, howdy, to things like when someone asks you how you're doing, you might say, I'm fair to middling. So I don't know, I think I'm going to play around with some of the sayings that we have in the South. Sayings that I'm proud of, that I say still today, and that I use all the time. My students are often like, you teach English and you speak that way? And I tell them that there's formal English and there's informal English and there's conversational English and there's, you know, how you speak when you're at home. It's, you know, there's a term for it. It's called code switching. And you speak one way when you're in a professional setting. You speak another way when you are around your friends and family. And so one of the great things about being in the South is what most people would consider conversational, we basically consider formal. So it's great to, when I go home, I can really just like throw away all of the rules of grammar, and I can just be free and say and communicate in a way that people can understand no matter how I'm saying it. So I have a feeling, a sneaky suspicion, that some of those sayings are going to show up in this book, because I'm feeling quite inspired by those. So between the silhouettes of all the wonderful Southern women, I'm probably going to do something with sayings. I just don't know what yet. So, all right, so I'm going to go off camera for a bit, but please do continue to watch. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm back. It has been quite some time. I have a confession to make. My mother and I, we went and had pedicures. And we stayed out for a few hours. But while I was having a pedicure, I worked on the text for the book. So that was multitasking. But then I also, I'm reading tomorrow at a school here in Oakland. And I had a couple of errands to run regarding that. So my time was, I did things productive. I was productive, even though I was away. So, anyway, the book is almost done. Well, kinda. We're close. It's 11 p.m. Still Thursday. So I'll just show you where I am and what I've done. So I did decide to go ahead and use words from my Southern upbringing. And I just want to pause here for a moment and say that I am not saying all women from the South talk this way. I'm not saying that all of these sayings are Southern sayings and only Southern sayings. I'm simply conveying that when I was raised, these are the words that were constantly in my hearing all the time. Either an aunt was saying it, my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. Someone was always saying these words. Okay, so with that said, I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want anyone to be offended or to think that I'm overgeneralizing. I am quite aware that not everyone in the South speaks the way my family speaks, but there are a lot of families who do. And so my goal and my hope with this book is that I'm honoring that tradition, and it's so much of who I am that I'm proud of it, and I want to share it with the world. So a lot of the sayings are, things that other people may use in different ways, other families, other regions, other countries. I don't know. But I do know that every cousin and every aunt and uncle and so many of our family friends and families I've met throughout my life who have been raised in a Southern setting. And by Southern, I am talking about, I'm originally from Florida. So Pensacola, Florida, which is very close to the Alabama line. And so that is the Southern upbringing that I am speaking of. So I just want to be clear on what I'm saying, and that I'm not overgeneralizing and I'm not stereotyping. I'm actually quite proud of my Southern heritage, and this book is a homage to that. So with all of that said, let me show you what I've done so far. Okay, so you've already seen the silhouettes that I plan to use, which I'm really liking them so much. I did end up putting a layer of Mod Podge over them just to, it's the matte version of Mod Podge. I didn't want them to be glossy because that's not really silhouette-like. It's, not for them to be glossy. So, but I did do a layer of Mod Podge, and I think I'm going to adhere them using this Claudine Helmuth Studio Multimedia Matte. Because I think I'm trying to get away from using toxic products so much, and it's the one non-toxic product that I have that I think will work for gluing these on. So the pages, the way this book works, it's a whirlwind structure, like I said, and the way the book works is it is intended to almost look like a go back to the times when we used actual encyclopedias and we didn't have all of it on our phones and our internet and our computers and iPads and e-readers, but we actually had to go to a book. And in the book, the encyclopedia would be sort of stepped, so you could put your finger where the K section was and flip it open, right? It kind of had that feeling. Some dictionaries are still like that. So this is how this book will function, very similar to that. So each page will be stepped out a little more than the next. All right, so that you only get to see the edge of the book until, as you're flipping through. So that's the idea. So this is going to be my cover. So basically I did the actual pages for the book. They're 4 by 6. And it has, I'll read the first little part of it. It's intended to be a little silly, but also very serious in a way. So the very first paragraph or section says, "A girl raised in the South may well ask you to call her a Southern belle. And honey child, it's in your best interest to comply. And so all the words that are Southern sayings, all the phrases are in italics. And then it goes on to talk about, you know, Southern women and the qualities of a Southern woman, and if your mom is a Southern woman, what you can expect, and if you're in love with a Southern woman, what you can expect, and if your best friend is a Southern woman, what you can expect. And then at the end it says, the bottom line, a girl raised in the South is strong and sassy, honest and humorous, and loyal and loving. Her look alone can make you hush your mouth, even if you used to could speak your mind. She'll make you shake a leg when you thought you couldn't move any faster. In the end, you'll wish you had some kind of doohickey or whatnot that could make you half as amazing as her little toe. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a sort of silly manifesto of Southern women. But I'm happy with it. I love the text. Every time I read it, I crack myself up a little bit. So, girls raised in the South. I'm super happy about it. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Pretty much everything else on here is going to be sped up for you so that you can just watch me go through the process. I'm thinking about using this Memento pink ink pad to maybe colorize the pages. I haven't decided 100%. This is an example sample page. So I'm thinking about that, and maybe using Stays On to go around the edge and give it sort of a little bit of interest on there. So I don't know yet. I'm going to decide as I'm talking to you right now. But I'm definitely going to colorize the cover because this is watercolor paper, and yeah, I don't want it to be so stark white, so this will definitely get some color. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet, but this will get color, and then the pages will get adhered. And I'm going to use these two metal, what I call my helpers, because I hate measuring with the ruler. Sometimes it feels like too much work to try to remember, oh, 1/16, no, wait, 3/16, wait, no, 2 millimeters. Yeah, so sometimes it's very intricate. Sometimes I can just use a device to help me, and this is my device. So basically each page at the end is going to be stepped out about the same width of this, and that's my plan. This is going to tell me where to score these pages because they need to be scored so that they can fold, so that when people are flipping through the book they can actually flip the pages without trouble. So that is the plan. And once these pages are done, the silhouette girls will appear on the opposite page from the text. So each time you turn, you'll get a silhouette gal. So yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm still debating on which silhouette gals to use, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be these because I like those. Okay, so the rest of the video is going to be sped up, and I will chat with you at the end. Okay, I want to pause here for a second. Look at the time. We're at 12:46, and I'm happy with where the book is. Okay, so you saw me paste down the first few pages. I just continued in that same fashion until the book was, all the pages were in. And I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, but I really wanted to use this tabbed feature. I didn't want these ends to be blank. I wanted it to be this sort of, I don't know, you could flip here and really just read about the Southern Belle, if you're in love with her, what that's like. And on the tab it says sugar, right? So honey child, it's almost like honey child, the bottom line, right? It just, I feel like they really went together. So so yeah, it has this stepped feature, which I really like. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I have a few more touches to add. I'm going to put in the silhouettes. I've decided one silhouette is going to be on the cover with the title. And then I'm only going to use 3 on the inside. So yeah, they will appear in here like this. So yeah, I'm going to go off camera for a minute, have a little bit of tea and something to eat, actually, because I haven't eaten. I just realized that about 20 minutes ago. So I am going to actually put this under weight to give it, to help try to flatten it out some. And then I'm going to print out my title and adhere the silhouettes using this Claudine Helmuth Studio Multimedia Matte. And then I'll be back to check in with you before I wrap it up for the night, because the book is pretty much we're close. We're about, I guess I probably have another half hour worth of work to do, but I am going to eat something first. Then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to put this under weight for about 30 minutes while I eat and print out the title, and then I will return. Okay, everybody, I'm all done. It is, once again, we're back in the 2 o'clock hour, 2:30, but I did take about an hour and a half and eat and chat with my mom and yeah, hang out for a minute, just relax my mind. But the book is done. I did all my gluing and everything off camera. So here we have it. Girls Raised in the South. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'll blog about some of the lessons I learned. For instance, my silhouettes. I love them, but I think I was premature in putting them on the cardstock. But I'll talk about that on the blog. But I still am happy with having them in this book. I think it works really well for what my vision was for the book. And that's it. It's done. Book number 9. We are so close to 10. I have to do something really pretty wonderful for 10. Not necessarily for the book, but just to celebrate that I made it to 10. So this is number 9. I'm looking forward to... She's got a little smudging on her. I'm looking forward to book 10, but for now I'm quite pleased with book 9, Girls Raised in the South. So thank you for joining me and for watching. Only thing I did off camera is put the title on and the I think the biggest part of putting this book together, you all saw me do, with scoring these pages properly and getting utilizing this tabbed feature and getting them lined up properly. I lined up the very last page first to the edge of the book, and then everything else was based on, remember my handy dandy measuring tool. Everything else, oh, that's not the one I used. Yes, everything else was based on that measurement. And I could have easily used, you know, this one. I could have used something smaller, but this is the one I measured it based on, so that's the one I used to make sure all my pages were equidistant. You could also do that with a ruler and mark them. Lots of ways to make that happen. So I don't know that you all can get the full effect on camera, but my paper, I love the, I used homemade spray inks to spray the watercolor cover, and I used spray inks to give the pages just a pink mist. I was going to do a full smear using pink ink pads, but I tried it on a sample sheet and I didn't really like it, so I just wanted a hint of pink. So I don't know if you all can actually see that hint of pink, but you can see the shimmery. One of my spray inks has a shimmer to it, so that's that shimmery. It looks wet, but it's not. It's actually just a shimmer. And that's what I wanted, just a little bit of pink peeking through. Yeah, so I am really happy with Girls Raised in the South. I love what I was able to accomplish with the text in such a short time. So I will blog about the book, and I hope you'll join me over at the blog. So finally, I want to end by saying thank you for everyone who's been supporting, watching, subscribing, following me on Twitter. I'm super humbled by it. Thank you so much. I hope that you were inspired either by the structure this week or by doing something with silhouettes, or maybe you want to do something using language that you remember from your childhood. There's so many different prompts you could pull from this, so I hope you will go out and create something, whether it's a book or whether you write a story, an essay, some poetry, or you draw something or you collage things together, whatever comes to you. I hope that you're inspired to create something today. Thank you.